Let's get to the White Sox for a second.
Do we have to?
No.
Yes! This is my favorite part of the show. Every single day, our live viewers go up by the ones.
It is my favorite part.
Which part?
When
to watch you swerve.
Like sands through the hourglass, so go our days of our White Sox. I mean, it's something every day. Where are we starting with this? Just so I know where to.
We'll do That's What He Said. And okay. I think usually what I like to do is just kind of lay out what was put out there and then get reactions from you guys. So let's first go to new GM Chris Getz.
Deep breath.
On Tony La Russa. He said TLR is, quote, in an advisory position. That type of experience is invaluable, not only in the team building aspect, with so many little pieces that go into a major league club, mentoring minor league coaches, players, quote, he's an asset. You want to stop there or should we go to the next part?
Well, okay. I don't know. Am I allowed to tell the story about Tony La Russa when didn't we send him something and he
What'd you send? We sent him something?
I thought Foul Territory sent him something, and he sent something back about, tell AJ he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. No, we didn't send him anything like a physical gift. I think we got a little bit of communication.
Oh, we sent him a happy birthday message.
Oh, yeah. Which is really nice. I like that we do that.
I actually like Tony.
It's a family company.
But then he said, tell AJ doesn't know what he's talking about because he had nothing to do with Getz getting hired. Well, okay. But he definitely has something going on in the organization. If Chris Getz has to answer questions about, yeah, Tony's an asset and Tony's doing this and Tony's doing that. If he didn't have anything to do with anything, he wouldn't be sitting in for whatever. He's sitting in meetings. He's still kind of running meetings and he's still making decisions. Now, I could be wrong, but I've heard this from multiple people.
Didn't Getz just say it too?
Yeah, but I could be wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I think you're pretty plugged in. You want to move on to the next part?
It keeps getting better. Like
this part's way better. Okay. So Chris Getz out at the GM meetings. Also, we're not knocking the individual. We're literally just saying what the quotes are. I'm reading quotes today, especially because there were press conferences all over the place. And yes, for the group that's asking about Boris, we'll cover that tomorrow because Scott Boris press conference is usually loaded with fun too.
Should we try to get Boris on again?
We can easily do that if we want. All right. So quote from Chris Getz. We have a talented group. There is no question. I don't like our team.
That seems like that contradicts itself.
Hold on.
Continue.
And we have to make some adjustments to improve in 2024. Later said that they have, quote, no untouchables trade-wise as he targets the White Sox identity. And then I think there's a good follow-up here from Pedro Grifol that's worth mentioning as well.
Griffel!
Here we go. Griffel. On a Zoom with Chicago media, and this is from Ryan McGuffey. On a Zoom with Chicago media, White Sox manager Pedro Grifol said that he agreed with Chris Getz's statement that he didn't like the team either. He referenced World Series winners talking about loving all 26 guys. Quote, we didn't have that. And then, do you see that comment? Is that Ozzy or Ozzy's
That's the
people?
Guillen family.
That's the Guillen family. So they replied and said, when did he start disliking them? He said he loved this team all last year. Does he realize interviews are recorded with laughing, crying emoji? So he hates them now? Got it. And they watch every game and listen to everything. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Who are you? Are
you role-playing?
Role-playing?
Yes. I'm every GM that's doing interviews at the GM meetings. Is it so sunny out there that they need to not see their faces, or are their eyes going like this?
Kratz, you're going to learn about this next week at our poker tournament because half the dudes there also wear sunglasses inside. They do not want to show their true emotions or feelings. They just want to put the quotes out there. And when we read them like that, some of them spoke great. That's why we're not going over 28 other press conferences, but I'm confused on that one from a manager. And my biggest thing is, let's get the player perspective here. Kratz, let's start with you. If you just played for a skipper, I want to start with you because I want to just do the hypothetical and let AJ build up for a second.
Role playing.
Okay? If you play for a coach that says, I love my team, everything's amazing, blah, 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 for the whole season, and then as soon as a new dude is hired, he's like, yeah, I don't like that team. What do players say when they see that quote?
F-A-K-E, you fake. You fake. I don't want it. I don't want you around no more. This man's time in Chicago is dwindling. If he's gonna all of a sudden, you were saying before, like, we love you, we all love you, and then all of a sudden, yeah, actually, I didn't like this team either. Thanks, Chris. You're gonna be here for a few years, right? I want to be here too.
That was beautiful, and that was concise.
Yes, that was good. That was good.
Landed the plane in seconds.
If we go back to the Chris Getz quote, we have a lot of talent, we have a great team, but I don't like them. Wait, what? Okay, what? And then if you continue to watch it, the whole, because I obviously, being a White Sox fan, I watched a lot of this, and he said, Homer, that's fine. I'm clearly a Homer. He said, he also said, you know, we're looking for certain types of players that we haven't had here in years. Wasn't he head of minor leagues? Wasn't he in charge of developing players to a certain type of player? So we're going to go out. Now, the other thing that I found interesting about this was the White Sox keep saying we're going to contend. When Chris Getz first got the job, he said we're going to contend in 2024. Okay, but then he said we're not going to, and no one's untouchable. We're very talented, but I hate my team. So if you're going to contend with a team you hate, doesn't that mean you have to change everybody? Usually teams that change the whole roster over in one day or 1 year off season, they usually don't contend very quickly. So it's just a lot of contradictions. Now, again, I want the White Sox to be good. I want Chris Getz to succeed. I want to make that very clear, right? I'm just going off of the quotes here. And as a White Sox fan, and from White Sox fans that I have spoken to, they are like, what the fuck? Because, again, they have talented pieces. Dylan Cease, Luis Robert, who should have won a Gold Glove. We didn't even get into that. Sorry, Kevin Kiermaier, but Luis Robert should have won. They have some other pieces here and there that are okay. They have Colson Montgomery, who's coming, who won MVP of the AFL All-Star Game, things like that. But are you trying to compete? And if you are, you're going to have to spend money. And we all know Jerry's not spending the money to compete to that level.
Not $100 million players.
He has never done it. $75 million is the highest, right? And then, or are you trying to rebuild? Because just come out and say you're going to rebuild. I know they just went through it. I know. But also, don't lie to the fans. Say, hey, we're going to have to rebuild. We're going to have to start over. And guess what? Like you just talked about, Kratzy, that gets Chris Getz 5 years. Like, oh, rebuild, I need my players here. That's 5 more years to do it. So just be honest. Listen, we're on Cashman, but Cashman was passionate and Cashman was kind of honest about what he said, how he felt.
Yes.
Now, how he said it might not have been the right way, but he was honest about, this is how I feel. To me, this is like trying to play both sides of it so the media can't get mad at me and the fans can't get mad at me. I'm gonna flip-flop. Oh, well, I really like our team. We're talented, but I hate them.
In the same sentence.
In the same sentence. Like, wait, what? And then the Guillen comment was the funniest to me because, listen, the Guillen boys and Ozzy does the post. And listen, I'll give Ozzy credit. He shows up every day. Now, listen, one day we'll have a whole Days of Our White Sox soap opera thing. And some of the stuff I heard about what went on last year. And Kratz, you'll be like, there's no way this stuff happened. And it all happened. Okay? But like Ozzy, the Guillen boys are like, wait, Pedro, you love this team. Every press conference you had, and you're going to compete, and you're going to hold them accountable. And then, like Kratz said, the new GM comes in, he says he hates them. And Pedro's like, nope, I hate them too, guys. I hated them. Didn't want any of them here. Nope, let's get rid of them all. Wait, what? Again, it's like the same thing. I've never heard of such a thing. At least Ozzy would come out and be like, I hate you guys. Like, oh, we know. We're fine
but that's middle school shit where it's like Steve said that we should all not like this person now, even though everyone was like, we love him 2 seconds ago, right? And then everyone's like, yeah, we don't like this person
Mean Girls.
either.
Mean Girls. Like
Mean Girls. Mean Girls. Real
do you remember the commercial? And I don't remember what the commercial was. It was the guy, he was trying to get on this like boat party, and he's like, he goes, yeah, Sergio told us. He goes, you know Sergio? He goes, yeah, you know, the tall, short, thin, skinny, fat, brown-haired, light-haired, blonde-haired guy? That's exactly what they just did right there. They were just like, come on, you know Sergio? Come join us. You're a White Sox.
I do remember that.
Come join us.
If you go on the White Sox, like, because obviously on my Twitter, X, whatever, X, it's a lot of White Sox feed because obviously White Sox near and near. But they're like, oh, man, Chris Getz, yeah, we're on the same page. I hate this team. But then I'm like, did they read the whole quote or they only saw that little snippet? Because the beginning said, it's like, okay, I don't know. Listen, I want him to do well, and I want Chris Getz to do well. It just is like, be honest and say we're going to rebuild. Because honestly, I know you're in the AL Central, but guess what, Scott? They're probably not going to compete next year. Minnesota, even though they're probably going to drop payroll, is going to be better.
They might dude, it's
Detroit
not hard to
should be
compete in that
better.
division.
Cleveland's not going to be as bad as they were.
They can compete in the Central if they wanted to. It is the easiest by
but
far.
They have
easiest.
to do what?
The Twins are cutting payroll.
They have to do what?
Spend.
And what do the White Sox not do?
Spend.
Okay, thank you.
They had a high payroll this year. I feel like
Mid-range.
I feel like the whole White Sox thing. I don't use emojis, but I'm a huge meme and GIF fan. And I feel like it's just like, you're watching like the GIF where like the kid's like smiling and there's a fire behind them. Like, I feel like that's the White Sox. I feel like I just got to like sit here and eat popcorn. That GIF, like, this is, thank you, AJ. Thank you for your World Series, female World Series ring that you have given us for the excitement that this is.
Speaking of, can I just ask this question, Kratz? And you've been in a bunch of organizations.
Then we got our guest ready.
I know. Sorry, Benny. Hold on one second because I have to ask this question.
He's listening.
He's a Rockies prospect. He doesn't care about the White Sox. Once he gets traded there, then he'll really care. But, Kratz, you're in a lot of organizations. Okay, the White Sox have had one team that has been able to do anything since 1918. So in 105 years, 106, 2024, right? That has won the World Series, made to the playoffs, done the deal, right? There's not one person in the organization anywhere that was on a part of that team. You would think there'd be a coach, a minor league coach. There's not one dude that is a part of the organization. And that was the only team that actually did it. I'm assuming other organizations lean back on their postseason successes and have some of those guys around in some sort of a role. But the White Sox don't have one dude that is a part of the 2005 team in their organization.
So to
any role that I know of. Who?
No, every organization I've been in that has a world championship, let alone not even a world championship. If you don't have a world championship and you've made it to the World Series, the Brewers, those guys come around and they give. It's not everybody. I think there's been some organizations that have won few titles and they just bleed those guys to death. They're just putting them in roles that they shouldn't be in just to be in the organization. But the good ones bring back the guys who just developed they talk about winning. Whether or not you think they're arrogant or not, whatever it is, they develop players to win. So I think that is a really important thing.
And by the way, I found the ad, so I'll send that to you later. I found the commercial.
It's one of my favorites.
Sergio! And then he parties with all. It's incredible. So
Sergio? Come join us.